Hello friends, welcome back to All About Structural Analysis and Design. So before starting this video, I would like to thank the subscribers and viewers because on 25th October the channel has reached one milestone, and that is 25,000 subscribers. So it was impossible without the subscribers and viewers. So I would like to place a special thanks to them. And also I would like to thank Amitesh Singh, one of the subscribers who has contributed to this channel development. And from last video I have started this thing. In the description box you will be finding my Google Pay number. If you feel this channel has helped you in any way, you can contribute to this channel through the Google Pay. This is not compulsory. Voluntarily you can give any amount, or if you are not in a position, this channel and this platform is absolutely free for all the viewers around the world. So with these words, I would like to start today's video, and this video was on demand from last many months from the subscribers, that is design of doubly reinforced beam. So today we will be designing a doubly reinforced beam, and the problem given is design a reinforced concrete beam supported on two walls 500 mm thick, spaced at a clear distance of 6 meters, and the beam carries a load of 30 kN per meter. The size of the beam is restricted to 300 mm into 500 mm, and you have to use M20 and Fe415 materials. So if you want to know why doubly reinforced beam is provided, the detailed video you can find out in my channel, and the link I will be giving in the top I button and also in the description box. So you can just look onto that video, that why we provide doubly reinforced beam and what is meant by doubly reinforced beam. So let's start with this today's video. So as a usual practice, first we will write down the given data, and the given data is it is supported on the walls of 500 mm thick. So width of support is equals to 500 mm. Then clear distance, that is 6 meters, and it carries a load of 30 kilonewton meter. WL, why? Because it is a kind of a live load, 30 kilonewton per meter. And the size of the beam, so no need to fix up the width and depth, because in this problem already the width and depth is given. So 300 mm is nothing but your B width, and 500 mm is your overall depth. Okay, that is your capital D, and the material says FCK is 20 and Fy is equals to 415 Newton per mm square. So FCK is equals to 20 Newton per mm square, and Fy is equals to 415 Newton per mm square. So this is the given data. So in this question nowhere they have mentioned that you have to design as a doubly reinforced beam. So while designing or while analyzing this beam, we will come to know why it is why the beam should be designed as a doubly reinforced beam. But a small hint they have given, because the depth is restricted. So that means it has a chance that this beam will be designed as a doubly reinforced beam. So how? So let us start. So the step 1, to find the effective length. To find effective length, that is your small L. So this is the first step you will be finding. For this you have to refer page number 34 of IS 456. So if you have gone through my previous videos of RCC, so in all the problems I have shown you how the clauses have to be implemented with the page numbers, and also the clause numbers also I have mentioned. So it is on page number 34 IS 456 2000, and it is 22.2 clause. Okay, so we will go to 34. So this is your page number 34 of IS 456 2000, and the clause is 22.2. So it says effective span. The effective span of a member that is not built integrally with its supports shall be taken as clear span plus effective depth of slab or beam, whatever you are using. So we are designing as a beam, so we will take it as a beam, or center to center distance between the supports, whichever is less. So you have to see the both the criteria and you have to design it. So the first criteria, clear span plus effective depth. So the clear span is 6 meters and plus effective depth you have to find out. For that, assume effective cover, that is d dash equals to 30 mm. Therefore your effective depth will be d minus d dash. So this is equals to 500 minus 30. So d will be 470 mm. So this is your effective depth. So now the first clause says clear span plus effective depth, and and effective depth is 470 mm, that is nothing but 0.47. So 0.47. So therefore this is equals to 6.47 meters. So this is your first value. Okay. Next, second criteria is clear span plus center to center distance between supports. Okay. Your support width of support was 500 mm. So clear span is 6 meters plus 0.25 plus 0.25. So it comes out to be 6.5 meters. So this is 2. Comparing 1 and 2 and select whichever is less. Okay. It is clearly mentioned in clause number 22.2, page number 34. So therefore effective span L equal to 6.47 meters. So like this way, your step number 1 you have to calculate your effective length. So after this, step number 2, that is to find ultimate moment. To find ultimate moment. Okay. So now for that you have to first find out the dead weight of the beam. Now self weight or dead weight of beam. So that will denote it as WD. So it is nothing but B width into depth into the density of concrete. So now the width is 0.3 meters, depth is overall depth 0.5 meters, that is 500 mm, and the density of concrete is taken as 25 kilonewton per meter cube. So now this works out to be 3.75 kilonewton per meter. So this is your self weight of the beam. Now overall load, that is WD plus WL. Now WD, just now we have calculated, that is 3.75, and WL in the given, what it was given, 30 kilonewton per meter. So 30. So total W is equals to 33.75 kilonewton per meter. So this is your total load. But we should not end it here. We have to find out the ultimate load. Now ultimate load WU, it is nothing but we have to just multiply the partial safety factor. So that is WU equals to 1.5 into 33.75. This comes out to be 50.6 625 kilonewton per meter. So this is the ultimate load which is coming onto this particular beam, including the dead weight. Okay, so this is the method to find out the ultimate load. Now comes ultimate moment. Now ultimate moment mu. Okay, so now mu is equals to, as this beam is simply supported and having UDL, so it is WU L square by 8. So WU we calculated just now, that is 50.625 into L is 6.47, the effective length, divided by 8. So mu works out to be 265 kilonewton meter. So this is your ultimate moment. Now we have to check the limiting moment, and it is given on page number 96. Now from page number 96, IS 456, calculate limiting moment, that is mu limit. So you have to calculate how much the limiting moment of this particular beam with this cross section will be worked out. So for that thing you have to go to page number 96. So this is your page number 96 of IS 456 2000. So there we have to go for mu limit expression, and it says 0.36 XU max by D 1 minus 0.42 XU max by D BD square FCK. So this expression you have to write down. So it is nothing but mu limit is equals to 0.36 XU max by D 1 minus 0.42 XU max by D BD square FCK. Now what is XU max by D value? So for FE 415, XU max by D value is equals to 0.48, and this is given on page number 70. So I will show you the page number 70. So on page number 70, so the FY values they have given F 250, 415 and 500, and the corresponding XU max by D value is given. So for 415 it is 0.48. So this comes from page number 70. So and you have to substitute this XU max by D value as 0.48 in this expression. So mu limit is equals to 0.36 into 0.48, 1 minus 0.42 into 0.48, B is 300, D is 470. Remember that is effective depth, and FCK is 20. So when you work out this expression, so mu limit comes out to be 182.85 kilonewton meter. So this is your limiting moment. So now what you can make out from this, that is your ultimate moment is 265 kilonewton meter, but the limiting moment is 182.85 kilonewton meter. So obviously mu is greater than mu limit, and this clarifies that the given beam is a doubly reinforced beam, or you have to design it as a doubly reinforced beam. So I will write down here one sentence. Mu is greater than mu limit, therefore this beam will be designed as doubly reinforced beam. So this is the way you have to find out whether this beam is singly reinforced or doubly reinforced. So now step number 3, to find compression steel area. So as you know, the W reinforced beam, it will be having tension reinforcement as well as compression reinforcement. So this is the main difference between the singly reinforced beam and doubly reinforced beam, that is it has tension reinforcement as well as compression reinforcement. So what we'll do is, first we will find out the compression steel of the beam. So for that thing, you need one more special publication here for the calculation, that is SP16. So it is a design aid for IS 456. So it is known as special publication 16. So from this special publication, to find out the steel area, what we have to do is, before that one, I will go to page number 96. Okay, before going to that particular SP16, this page number 96, we will go and we will see what the expressions we can use here. So we can use this expression, but before using this expression, you have to find out the area of compression steel, that is ASC. So that's why we are finding out first the area of compression steel, and then we will be calculating the subsequent calculations. Okay, so for this special publication we will be using, that is SP16, and you have to go to page number 1313 and you have to go to table number F. So what it says here, FSC values you can calculate. So there are two grades of steel, 415 and 500, and depending upon the ratio of D dash by D, so that is cover by D, we have to find out the FSC value. So our steel is 415, and first we have to work out D dash by D. Now D dash by D, D dash was 30 and D is 470, so it comes out to be 0.063. okay, and now this 0.063 directly is not available, but 0.05 and 0.1 is available. So the value is in between 0.05 and 0.1. Therefore we have to interpolate and find out the value for 0.063. So these are the values you have to find out. For 0.05, the FSC value is 355, and 0.1 it is 353 for 415 steel. To find FSC, you have to go to SP16, page number 13, table F. Okay, so for 0.05 the value was 355, and for 0.1 the value is 353. By interpolation, FSC value is equals to, so you can see here, so the value is getting decreased. So from 355 it is decreasing to 353. So for that, what we'll do is, first we will take this 355 value and we'll write here negative sign, because the value is decreasing from 0.05 to 1. So then 355 minus 353 divided by 0.1 minus 0.05. So for what value you have to find out, that is 0.063 mentioned here, minus the first value which we have taken, that corresponding value you have to write down, that is 0.05. After calculating this, you will be getting FSC value as 354.48 Newton per mm square. So this is very important value in your further calculations, and this we have calculated with the help of SP16 table F. Now you have to go to page number 96 again. So from page number 96, mu minus mu limit is equals to FSC ASC D minus D dash. Mu is known, mu limit is known, FSC just now we have calculated, D is known, D dash is known. So only value ASC is unknown that we can calculate. Okay. From page number 96. Now from page number 96, IS 456/2000, mu limit mu minus mu limit is equals to FSC ASC D minus D dash. So therefore ASC is equals to mu minus mu limit divided by, okay, FSC D minus D dash. So just substitute the values here. Okay, so your mu is 265 kilonewton meter. In Newton millimeter it will become into 10 raised to minus 6 minus 182.85 into 10 raised to 6 divided by FSC value just now we calculated, that is 354.48. D is 470 minus 30. After substituting, the ASC value you will be getting as 526.7 mm square. So this is the value of area of compression steel. So now select the diameters. So we will use 16 mm5 diameters. So take 16 mm5 bars and calculate the diameter of each bar. So that is becomes ASC is equals to pi by 4 16 square. So that works out to be 201 mm square. Therefore number of bars is equals to ASC divided by ASC. So, capital ASC divided by small ASC. So 526.7 divided by 201. So it comes out to be 2.62 bars. But 2.62 bars we cannot provide. Therefore, provide 3 bars of 16 mm5 as compression reinforcement. Okay, so this is how you have to calculate the area of compression steel. So this was the slight different step compared to your singly reinforced beam problem. So now step 4. Area of tension steel. So this is a little bit familiar if you have seen my video of singly reinforced beam. So if you have not seen my video, I will be giving the link in the description box. So from page number 96, so we'll see again page number 96, and it says AST is equals to AST1 plus AST2. So there will be 2 AST. Okay, so AST1 is area of tensile reinforcement for a singly reinforced beam section. So how we have calculated for that our previous video of singly reinforced beam, same way we will be calculating. And AST2 will be the additional tensile reinforcement, which will be calculated again with the help of ASC FSC divided by 0.87 Fy. So that's why I had told that FSC value is very important for the further calculations. So now what we'll do, if you remember or if you have seen my previous video, so before that we'll finish this from page number 96. AST equal to AST1 plus AST2. What is meant by AST1, AST2? It is given on page number 96. So coming back to singly reinforced beam in the video. So what we had done, we had one formula, that is AST1 equals to 0.5 FCK by Fy 1 minus root of 1 minus 4.6 mu limit. Why we are using mu limit, I will tell you. FCK BD square into BD. Here we are using MU limit and not MU, because on page number 96 it clearly says AST1 is the area of tension reinforcement of singly reinforced beam, and this we are taking MU limit as for a singly reinforced beam, and we are calculating AST1. So after substituting, so AST1 the values we will substitute first. So 0.5, FCK is 20, Fy is 415, 1 minus root of 1 minus 4.6, MU limit the value was 182.85 into 10 raised to 6, because we are converting it into Newton millimeter. FCK is 20, B is 300, D is 470 square, 300 into 470. So when you input this into the calculator, so you will be getting AST1 as 1343.82 mm square. So this is the area of steel for singly reinforced beam. Now one more AST to the additional tensile reinforcement you have to calculate. So now AST2 equals to ASC FSC divided by 0.87 Fy, and this is given in page number 96. So just substitute ASC value which we had calculated is 526.7, FSC is calculated as 354.48 divided by 0.87, and Fy is 415. So AST2 value we are getting as 517.11 mm square. Therefore AST is equals to now AST1 plus AST2. So 1343.82 plus 517.11. So like this way the AST value is 1861 mm square total tensile reinforcement. Okay, now you have to choose the reinforcement bars. So use 22 mm 5 bars. So calculate the area for each bar. So that is AST equals to pi by 4 into 22 square. So you will be getting 380 mm square. Therefore number of bars equals to AST by small ast. So 1861 divided by 380. So you will be getting 4.89 bars. So but the 4.89 bars you cannot provide. Therefore provide 5 bars of 22 mm 5 as tension reinforcement. So this is how you calculate the area of steel in compression as well as in tension zone. Okay, so now the last step which is remaining is check for shear. Now step 5, check for shear. So this remains same for singly reinforced as well as this doubly reinforced beam. Now VU equal to WUL by 2 because it is simply supported beam and carrying UDL load. So WU we calculated at the initial calculations, that is 50.625 kilonewton into L was 6.47 meters divided by 2. So VU, that is ultimate shear force, is 163.77 kilonewton. Okay, so this is again usual steps which we follow for singly reinforced beam also. Now from page 72, so this is your page number 72, again from IS 456 2000, you have to first calculate the nominal shear stress, that is tau V is equals to VU by BD. Page number 72, IS 456 2000, tau V equals to VU by BD. So VU is 163.77. When you convert from kilonewton to Newton, you have to write into 10 raised to 3. B is 300 and D is 470. So with this, you will be getting tau V as 1.16 Newton per mm square. Make a habit to mark these values in box so that the evaluator who is checking your paper will be getting to know the exact mean values. Okay. So from this you have to calculate percentage of tension reinforcement. Now percentage of tension reinforcement. Why this is required? Because you have to calculate now shear strength of concrete, and for that you have to it is required percentage of tensile reinforcement. That is nothing but AST by BD into 100. You will be getting the percentage of tension reinforcement. And with the M20 grade of concrete, you have to just see the values and you have to interpolate and get the value of tau C. Then you have to compare the value of tau V and tau C. AST by BD into 100. So the total AST was 1861 divided by B is 300, D is 470 into 100. So we'll be getting the percentage as 1.32%. And this is on this table number 19 is on page number 73, after the immediate page after nominal shear stress, which I had shown you. So from this you have to interpolate. Now the percentage of tension reinforcement is 1.32. So this 1.32 lies between 1.25 and 1.5. And for this M20 grade value 1.25, the tau C value is 0.67, and for 1.5% it is 0.72. With the help of interpolation method you have to calculate. Now from table 19, page 73, calculate shear strength of concrete. Design shear strength of concrete. Okay. So our percentage is 1.32. As I have shown, it lies between 1.25 and 1.5. So for 1.25 the value was 0.67, and for this the value is 0.72 for M20 grade of concrete. Now by interpolation, tau C, the first and here listen, this previous interpolation method it was decreasing. Now for this interpolation it is increasing. So what we'll do is, first we'll write down this value 0.67, positive will add because it is increasing, so that's why you have to write here plus. For previous calculation, the FSC calculation what we had did by interpolation, it was decreasing, that's why we had written minus. Okay. Now 0.72 minus 0.67 divided by 1.5 minus 1.25, and the value which we have to calculate, that is 1.32, we have to write here minus 1.25. And when you calculate this, you will be getting tau C value as 0.684 Newton per mm square. Now if you compare tau V and tau C value, tau V is greater than tau C, therefore shear design is required. Okay, so this is how you have to calculate the shear design. So now you have to calculate shear carried by concrete. Now shear carried by concrete, and this is given by we'll denote it as VUC. VU was a complete shear force. The C value is related to concrete. So shear carried by concrete is tau C BD. Okay, the tau C value as 0.684 into B is 300, D is 470. So VUC equals to 96.4 kilonewton. Okay, so you'll be getting 96,000 some value. So I have written here in kilonewton. Therefore, shear carried by stirrups, shear carried by stirrups. You have to design now stirrups. Okay, out of this complete VU, that is VUS, you have to calculate now. VUC was the shear carried by concrete. The VUS is shear carried by stirrups. How you will find out? Complete VU minus VUC. So this VU value was 163.77. From that you have to minus this 96.4. So VUS you will be getting value as 67.37 kilonewton. So this is the shear to be carried by stirrups. Okay, this is how you have to calculate the values. Now you have to select how much legged stirrups and all you have to use, and the diameter you have to select. Now what we'll do is, let us provide 10 mm 5, okay, 10 mm diameter, 2-legged vertical stirrups, that is 2 LVS. So ASV, the area of vertical stirrups, 2-legged is, so therefore 2 into pi by 4 into 10 square. So this comes out to be 157 mm square. So this is the area of vertical stirrup. And again you have to go to page number 73. After that tau C table, they have given for vertical stirrups, this formula you have to use. VUS equal to 0.87 Fy ASV D divided by SV. So you have to find out now spacing. Okay, from page number 73, VUS equals to 0.87 Fy ASV D divided by SV. So from this SV is unknown, so therefore SV equals to 0.87 Fy ASV D divided by VUS. So SV is equals to 0.87 into 415. ASV you have calculated, that is 157. D is 470 divided by VUS, shear carried by stirrups, that is 67.37. we had got value in kilonewton. If you convert it into Newton, you have to multiply into 10 raised to 3. So SV you will be getting 395 mm. Now again there are two clause which is given on page number 47. So this is first one. Now second one from page 47. So that also I will show you. So what it says, the maximum spacing of shear reinforcement from page number 47. So the maximum is 0.75 D. Okay, if not, if it is greater, then the maximum that spacing should not exceed 300 mm. So whatever you calculate the values from these three, it should not exceed 300. You have to take care. So the first case is 395, it is obviously exceeding 300, so it is not applicable. So from page number 47, the second criteria is 0.75 D. So 0.75 into D is 470, so we are getting 352 mm. So this is also exceeding 300 mm. So then the last case remains 300 mm. So this value you will have to take. Okay, so select least from three values. Therefore we can conclude, provide 10 mm Fy 2-legged vertical stirrups at 300 mm center to center. So this is how you have to calculate the shear. Okay, shear calculations. So this is the complete picture, okay, how to provide the reinforcement. So this is your beam, okay, and this is the cross section. Anywhere you can cut and you can see, because we are not decreasing the spacing of stirrups, okay. We know that the shear will be maximum at the support. So what you can do is you can provide the less spacing here, and you can just gradually increase by 300. 300 is the maximum spacing. You can decrease near the supports depending upon your design. So this was just a simple problem. I have not made it complicated, and also I have not shown here the development length and the curtailment of bars. So for that particular thing, I am planning for the detailed video. So in that I will show you how to curtail the bars and development length, what we have to provide. So this is now the simple design. We have ended at the design for shear, and this is the drawing. So this bottom bars, that is 5 bars of 20 mm phi as tension reinforcement I have shown. This 3 bars of 16 mm phi as compression reinforcement like this, and this is 10 mm phi at 2 lvs at 300 mm center to center spacing. So complete spacing I have given as same. So you can give here less spacing, that is 200 mm, and gradually you can provide 300 mm at the center, because the shear force will be minimum at the center. So this was the overall depth 500 mm. So depth then this width of support is 500 mm, and here I have shown the cross section, okay. So this is how you have to design a doubly reinforced beam, and initially it was not given which type of beam it is. So we have seen that mu is greater than mu limit, so therefore we will be designing it as a doubly reinforced beam, that we have seen. And also the new thing was the calculation of compression reinforcement, ASC. So I hope you have understood this particular design. So if you have understood, please like it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe all about structural analysis and design. And I'll be coming up with more videos regarding RCC and structural analysis. So that's it for today. Good day.